Hi there, I'm Idan from the Feel Good Cafe, and today we're going to talk about porridge. Porridge is traditionally consumed in the morning for breakfast. It is not a bad idea. There is better ideas possibly, but it is one of them ideas which are quite good, and we're going to discuss why. So firstly, porridge, it's made from porridge oats. It's a type of a cereal. It's naturally very rich in silica, and it comes from Northern Europe often, Scotland, Ireland, and such places. A good porridge mix would be to make it with water. Often people put half a cup, half a cup inside a saucepan, and 4 cups of this size water, and it's cold water, and then they heat it in the saucepan, slowly stirring to avoid any lumps and creating. Now, I would always recommend when we use a saucepan, because it's metal, never to use any fork or spoons or anything like that, because metal against metal breaks each other down and irritates, and we can end up with all kind of Teflon bits or whatever metal we're using, tiny scrapes and scratches into our food, and that's not a good thing because it's a very highly processed thing, a metal spoon or a pan. So when we use metal, we use something from silicon or wood to stir with, and then nobody get stirred. Now doing it with water keeps it nice and light, and possibly arguably easier to digest, and then it's a pure carb meal. And if we add some fruits, be fresh or sun-dried. Make sure if you buy dried fruits that there's no sulfates or nitrates or any kind of preservatives. We want living food. We don't want any food that can last for ages and ages. It's not natural, and possibly it's a clue to whether it's good for us or not. Things that go off naturally means they're real, they're fresh, and when they're in a good state, they're probably good for us. Or the things that have years and years of shelf lives, it's a bit of a warning sign. A warning light should come on to tell us maybe we should look at other products nearby. So it's a high carb, gives us lots of energy. Lots of athletes before a long endurance activity would consume lots of carbohydrates, and when we just woke up, it's a nice way to start the day. Also, there's another theory. It speaks about carbs, proteins, and fats, which are the 3 main groups that we divide food into. And of course, most foods contain a little bit of them 3, but then they would contain in higher concentration 1 or 2 more of the other. So if we think of a fire, this is an analogy I heard not so long ago, and it stuck in my mind, that we look at a fire, at a wood-burning fire, like to warm the house, this kind of fires I'm talking. And when we take paper or small stalks and light things and we put into the fire, we get a big flame, but it dies off just as quick off. And however, if we take a branch and we put into the fire, it catches up the fire fairly quickly, and it lasts a little bit longer than the stalks and plain paper. However, if we take a big log and we put it into the fire, it takes a long time for it to burn and to catch on fire, and it lasts sometimes the whole night. And we can perhaps compare the food categories we have into that. We've got sugars and carbohydrates, which are quick uplifters of energy. Like with the fire, they give us bursts of energy, but they die down. And it's okay, it's possible to sustain like that. We're just going to have to eat more regularly, more often. Then we've got things like stalks, where we would call maybe protein. You can have a few nuts, they will keep you quite sated for an hour or 2, sometimes 3-4 hours. And then we've got the fats. Often people who they report having 2 avocados, only 2 avocados will make them feel for quite a long time, sometimes for the whole day. Or they'll have half an avocado a couple of hours before bedtime, so maybe 6 or 7, and with their meal, and that would keep them full to the morning, and they wake up light and not heavy and not needing much to eat as they wake up. And it is possible to act like the log. It keeps burning and it gives us enough calories and energy to burn for a longer time. But when we start the morning, we don't upload our system, the body, with heavy stuff. And it makes sense that we start with light stuff. And also, if we look evolutionary, if before even we were hunter-gatherers, we would gather during the day. And if we looked at our closest living relatives, they gather and they have carbohydrates and sugars for breakfast. Often they have them for the rest of the day, and there's many diets that talks about it, like the 80-10-10 or the raw 2-4 or the starch solution. There's various of these diets, and people report great results, and it's something worth looking into, researching, and consulting with a medical person if you got any health issues going on, and talking online to people, or phoning and researching a professor that wrote a book and asking for their advice. We're allowed to do it. They are actually out there, more often than not, very happy to hear from people taking interest in their research and in their findings, and they would be very happy to support us. That's what I have found. So we start the morning similar to how science shows us that carbohydrates is good for the body, it's easy to digest, it sustains us with energy, but also our evolution shows us that we would gather during the day, look for them berries and fruits, and a berry fruit rich in sugars and carbohydrates, and so is our porridge. So we add some fruits, sun-dried fruits or fresh fruits, and a bit of honey or any other healthy sweetener which you find you like and is good for us. Often the fruits, they are the most natural sweetener, and if you mulberries, goji berries, some sun-dried Chilean raisins which we get in here, and cranberries which are sweetened with apple juice, and all of these things really make the porridge nice. And of course some people add nuts as well, and seeds, all of which are good as well. I personally tend to run with the nuts and seeds a little later on in the day, which we can cover in another video. And if you ever get a chance to visit us at the Feel Good Cafe, you will see we've got a huge range of pick and mix to top your granola, porridge, and organic cereal breakfast, whatever it may be. And there's different kinds of sweeteners, natural sweeteners which we use, and they're really natural. So it's worth paying a visit if you pass by or live nearby. Or you can check us out on Instagram and Facebook to see the photos that customers actually taken and uploaded to those sites. So this is my suggestion or my idea of what a good healthy breakfast can look like. A big bowl of porridge. And that's one thing to think about, research. Remember, our body is ours. It's truly ours. Perhaps it's one of the only things that we really owe. We take it with us everywhere. We can't go anywhere without it, and we've got to look after it. And so as it's our body, perhaps we should all become mandatorily, by mundane, by a must, the masters of it and researchers for what makes it work better, and to look after our body and mind is very related with good food. We feel better, and it's both psychological but on biological levels as well. You give the right nutrient, you're going to improve the resources of it, dopamines or connectivity or omega-3s. All of these affect each other. If we eat the wrong foods for too long, perhaps it will deplete those healthy nutrients in our brain, and perhaps it can cause a chemistry imbalance up there. So I recommend research and understand, try to understand and seek information, why to eat, what to eat, when to eat, how to eat. I'm just an example of a person that researched a little bit and a little bit more and a little bit more, and over the 12 years gained some knowledge that seems to make my body better, and often those around me who give it a try. Why don't you become one of them as well? It's the body, it's not out there, it's within us, it's with us. Thank you so much for watching. Any questions, any suggestions, anything you would like to know which you think I might be able to share with or help, please let me know. It is my absolutely utmost pleasure to share these videos. Thanks for watching.